that it is raining. Now you move on. If you're to use the Machindye lane, you get somewhere before Zambia Hospital, it's not raining. You come to around Ginger Road roundabout, it is raining. Now what a country. How beautiful it is that we have this weather, we have the seasons that we do have. Of course, climate change has been a problem. We've tested the impact, but it remains beautiful Uganda. I'm Robert Chirabonyonitono, and I'm going to be taking you on, but Julie will be joining me very soon. Now, so much happened yesterday, and among the things that we were able to look at was the vetting of designated ministers. And it all seemed well, all of them as they were coming out of the appointments committee, because even Sanjay Tana, Minister designate for Trade, Cooperatives and Industries, said, well, the issue you thought I had, which was dual citizenship, I don't have it. I'm of an Indian origin, but born in Uganda. I hold one passport, and I'm sure if they were waiting to get me at that, I have passed. Now today is day 2, we wait to see. And of course, the chairperson of the appointments committee and leader of opposition, Joe Senyonyi, came out clearly and said those that have issues with citizenship better not come, or first handle that before coming, because we will look at it critically, because it's a matter of law. It's not debatable according to the leader of opposition. It's a matter of law and not debated. But we wait. Today is going to be a very exciting day. Were these rumors like it was for Sanjay Tana, or were they true? And if so, can they hinder someone from taking on office? UBC, our team, will be at Parliament to get you anything that comes out and anybody that comes out of that appointments committee. But in the interest of time, allow me quickly go through the stories that we were able to get for you this morning. We begin with the vetting process. Now, the process of vetting individuals that were appointed by the president and designated various cabinet ministerial positions started by the vetting committee headed by the Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oboth. One of the members of the vetting committee, the leader of opposition in Parliament, Joe Senyonyi, said individuals who were designated positions but have issues of dual citizenship is an issue of law. Individuals designated different cabinet positions by President Museveni arrived at Parliament for the vetting to be approved as ministers or state ministers. Dr. Crispus, also MP Bukonzo West, who had been appointed as the second deputy prime minister and deputy leader of government business in Parliament, was vetted. Mayuge district woman member of Parliament Rukia Nakadama was also vetted. She was appointed third deputy prime minister and her focus in Parliament City. Sam Mayanja, appointed as Attorney General, also was vetted. The leader of opposition members of the vetting committee, Joe Senyonyi, said the committee is looking for qualifications of the different cabinet appointees and their capabilities in various ministries designated for them. Kasure Lumumba, designated to the Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology. Baram Balgahara, designated the Ministry of Local Government, and Dr. Jenrutha Chen were vetted as well. The National Environment Management Authority has halted the construction of multi-storied buildings that were being erected illegally within Kajansi wetland in Wachiso district. The structures are allegedly to be owned by Dr. Azar Tayabu, Ismail Seguja and Arafat Mwonge, who have been at the center of public debate on social media, with sections of the public questioning NEMA's consistency in enforcing environmental laws. The developments, which were taking place within a protected wetland in Kajansi, left many questions why NEMA had previously demolished smaller structures in wetlands while these large developments appeared untouched. The controversies were also stirred by the recent restoration exercise conducted in Kawala by NEMA that saw several structures erased. Executive Director of NEMA, Dr. Akankwasa Barirega, told the lead team of technical officers to conduct a follow-up inspection aimed at establishing the extent of environmental degradation and identify responsible persons. The structures are allegedly to be belonging to Dr. Auza Taibu, Ismail Seguja, and Arafat Muonge. Dr. Akankwasa confirmed that all activities at this site have been halted pending investigations and a 21 days restoration order issued to the developers for action before the restoration window elapses. NEMA maintains a strong warning to all developers in gazetted areas to desist from any illegal action before conducting proper environmental due diligence. Wetlands are protected ecosystems that play a critical role in flood control, water purification, and climate regulation. No person is permitted to develop a wetland without authorization under the National Environmental Act. Government has commenced the disbursement of funds meant to restore cattle in Teso, Acholi and Lango sub-region. According to the Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Alex Kakoza, 559 households as of yesterday each received 5 million for purchasing the animals meant for the Restore King project. Last year, 2025, during the presidential campaign, the people of Teso, Acholi and Lango demanded that the government consider the long-awaited restocking program because they lost all their animals during the Kony War insurgency. It is from this point that President Yoweri Museveni directed the Office of the Prime Minister to implement the program. In the recent financial year, government allocated 80 billion to kickstart on the project. The Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Alex Kakoza, said, as of yesterday, 559 households received the money. A total of 16,000 households are expected to be benefiting from the 80 billion shillings allocated for this financial year. Kakoza, however, warned leaders tasked to submit lists of beneficiaries and districts, Ramo, Noya, and Agago, that were high-risk areas were the first to get the money. Government is targeting 1.7 million households, and a total of 1.7 trillion shillings is expected to be used for over 7 years to cater for the entire program. Finally, from the local scene, amid growing demands by residents of Amuria district for information on the whereabouts of their woman member of parliament, Margaret Tiru, police have denied having information about the alleged abduction of the legislator. It is alleged that Margaret was abducted by security personnel while leaving the residence of former Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among. Regarding the ongoing investigations into former Speaker Anita Among, police say they are still compiling information. It is alleged that several politicians were summoned by the Criminal Investigations Directorate to aid investigations. However, police have denied the reports. Meanwhile, police clarified that the contracts of some directors have expired and that they are waiting guidance from the appointing authority. It should be recalled that last week, President Museveni sent the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Internal Affairs, Lieutenant General Joseph Musanyufu, Under Secretary Agre Wunyi, and Police Director in charge of ICT, AIGP Felix Byala-Mwesika, and other senior officials on forced leave over the alleged mismanagement of 31.3 billion shillings. Now, that brings us to the end of our local stories this morning. Julie Nantaba Musisi is with me, and let's take a look at international stories.
All right, thank you very much, Robert, and a good morning to you. Now, looking at what we have on the global scene, at least 5 people have been killed and dozens have been injured after Russia launched a major overnight attack on cities across Ukraine. 4 people were killed in Dnipro and 16 were injured. 1 person was killed in Kiev, where at least 29 were injured following Russian strikes in the early hours of Tuesday. Thousands of people took shelter in the capital as large plumes of smoke rose from the city's center. Air raid warnings were in place across most of Ukraine. Moscow last week warned it would launch systematic strikes on Ukraine in response to a drone strike last month on a dormitory in Ukraine's Russian-held Luhansk region, which killed 21 people. Kiev Mayor Vitaly Klitschko has urged people to stay in shelters. The head of Kiev's city military administration, Timur Cheko, said the enemy is striking with ballistic missiles. Klitschko said 2 high-rise apartment buildings had been hit and there are fears people are trapped under rubble. Now, Iranian officials have warned that Israel's escalating attacks on Lebanon and ongoing hostilities in Gaza threaten to derail the ongoing ceasefire negotiations with the United States, which continue to drag on. Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi suggested on Monday that the mounting Israeli invasion of Lebanon and its strikes on the country, alongside the continued U.S. siege of Iranian ports, constitutes a violation of the ceasefire. The ceasefire between Iran and the U.S. is unequivocally a ceasefire on all fronts, including in Lebanon, Araghchi said in a social media post. Its violation on one front is a violation of the ceasefire on all fronts. The U.S. and Israel are responsible for the consequences of any violation. Iran's chief negotiator and parliament speaker Mohammed Bagher made the same point. The naval blockade and escalation of war crimes in Lebanon by the genocidal Zionist regime are clear evidence of the U.S. non-compliance with the ceasefire, he wrote on social media. Every choice has a price and the bill comes due. It will all fall into place, he added. Now onto the continent. Health authorities in the Democratic Republic of Congo are celebrating after 5 patients who had Ebola, now recovered, were allowed to leave hospital. The current outbreak is suspected to have killed almost 250 people, but those infected can get better, and officials stress that people should seek medical help if they believe they have contracted the virus. On Sunday, there was a ceremony for a group of 4 provincial capital of Ituri, the epicenter of the outbreak. You are living stories that this outbreak can be stopped, World Health Organization Chief Dr. Tedros Adhanom told the 4 on a visit to Bunia. We were really demoralized because we knew that at some point we were going to die. That was it. I'm telling you, if you have never been isolated, you will not know that it's not easy. Nurse Etienne Ezo told the Reuters news agency as he reflected on his experience. The first survivor to have recovered, who is a laboratory worker, left hospital last week. This reminds me of the fight Ugandans took to social media against Western media for misrepresenting and reporting non-facts regarding the numbers on Ebola, especially for Uganda. Anyways, that aside, we'll be having a conversation on Ebola later on the show, and we'll be delving deeper. But for now, let's have a look at what we have in the dailies this morning. Robert.
Good morning, Judy.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
Good. I love the combination of that blue. It reminds me similar to St. Mary's Chitende.
Interesting.
Somehow something similar to that a bit.
Yeah, I know.
That,
this.
Now.
Right.
There are so many stories in the dailies today, but I'll begin with a new vision where over 80,000 experienced civil servants near retirement. Now the word there is experienced. 80,000.
The question is, have they mentored?
That is what I was going to say. Now, a probe identifies 10 concerns against ex-speaker inside IGG report on Among. And moving on, Ebola prevention, Uganda tightens health screening at DRC border. Now, a very disturbing story, Julie. And this is Kafelo remains exhumed for DNA test on 20 children. I think it's time men will learn. It's time we learn. And I'll emphasize that. If you've lived a life that way, be wise enough to ensure you do these DNAs on your children while you're still living. Hand them over to your mother if you're still there, or a trusted person. If you fathered a child out there, do a DNA. Hand over to your mother, because you may believe the best person to keep my secrets is my mother. So if she's still alive, hand them over to your mother, lawyers, and anybody you trust. So that when the Lord calls you, or the devil, you don't leave problems and confusion on earth, and your peace is not disturbed. We need to stand up for our mistakes as men, because I call them mistakes. Indeed they are. If they have happened, please. Julie, are you aware there are men who died and on their grave you see children? You've never heard of, but the child surfaces. Well, moving away from that, we see still Ebola. Ebola, let me move to the Daily Monitor.
Right.
Now, the Daily Monitor, Ebola disease under check, says government. Still in the Daily Monitor, we have speaker budget grows 7 times. Now there is a picture of Mama Rebecca Kadaga. During her time, her budget was 4.4 billion shillings. The late Jacob Olanya, it was 3.9 billion. Now, during the time of the 11th Parliament, the Speaker had a budget of 28.5 billion shillings. Wow. That is your budget as a Speaker. No doubt, the Speaker of the 12th Parliament will have 28.5 billion.
Well, let's wait to see if he'll actually cut it.
Now, when Mama Kadaga looks at this, you had a 4.4.
Right. Now, let's take a trip to what we have in the rest of East Africa. And this morning, the Daily Nation is representing from Kenya, Ruto silent on Ebola. That's the headline. And the High Court will today hear a petition seeking to block the Kenya-US deal on the killer virus. Also, President vows an end to exclusion of northern Kenya. That is what the Daily Nation has this morning. But on a rather sad note, this morning, news coming through says that veteran Ugandan dancehall musician David Sifayo, popularly known by his stage name as Master Parrot, has tragically passed away following a road crash along Kampala Northern Bypass last evening on Monday. And according to eyewitnesses, a preliminary police report says the fatal crash occurred in the busy Masanafu area yesterday. May his soul rest in peace, and let's have some music from him, and we'll be right back for another conversation. But this is a way of paying tribute to someone who was part of the Ugandan music industry.
A lovely morning to you, God's people. Thank you very much for waking up with us this lovely day. Why am I saying so? Because indeed Uganda is the pearl of Africa. When it rains, in some parts it's raining, some parts it's not raining. Just imagine you're coming from Entebbe and by the time you leave the airport, it is raining. Now when you reach around Kitende, there is no sign of rain. You drive through, you reach Chibuye, those that are well versed with the Entebbe road, then you find that it is raining. Now you move on. If you're to use the Machindye lane, you get somewhere before Zambia Hospital, it's not raining. You come to around Ginger Road roundabout, it is raining. Now what a country. How beautiful it is that we have this weather, we have the seasons that we do have. Of course, climate change has been a problem. We've tested the impact, but it remains beautiful Uganda. I'm Robert Chirabonyonyitono, and I'm going to be taking you on, but Julie will be joining me very soon. Now, so much happened yesterday, and among the things that we were able to look at was the vetting of designated ministers. It all seemed well, all of them as they were coming out of the appointments committee, because even Sanjay Tana, minister designate for trade, cooperatives and industries, said, well, the issue you thought I had, which was dual citizenship, I don't have it. I'm of an Indian origin, but born in Uganda. I hold one passport, and I'm sure if they were waiting to get me at that, I have passed. Now today is day 2, we wait to see. And of course, the chairperson of the appointments committee and leader of opposition, Joe Senyonyi, came out clearly and said those that have issues with citizenship
on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks, Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules. Plant extract, scientific ratio. Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
A common question: why do you first wait for them to build and then you come late? You look around, do you see them anywhere?
Erected within the fragile Lumpeo-Kajansi wetland ecosystem, multi-storied illegal facilities had advanced significantly before attracting the attention of the public following videos shared on social media platforms. The developments, which were taking place within a protected wetland in Kajansi left many questioning why NEMA had previously demolished smaller structures in wetlands while these large developments appeared untouched. The controversies were also stirred by the recent restoration exercise conducted in Kawala by NEMA that saw several structures erased down. The Executive Director, NEMA, Dr. Akankwasa Barirega, today led a team of technical officers to conduct a follow-up inspection aimed at establishing the extent of environmental degradation and identifying responsible persons.
We'll direct it here and here. We don't need to direct it. The moment we block it will pile up, then it's spread naturally. So why can't we start with that one? Simple medicine. As we wait for the 21 days. Because the restoration orders have been brought, they are here. We are going to issue them. So we could block the water here so that it spreads and it starts circulating as we wait for the law to take its course.
The structures are alleged to belong to Dr. Aza Taibu Isma Seguja and Arafat Muonge. Dr. Akankwasa confirmed that all activities at this site have been halted pending investigations and a 21 days restoration order issued to the developers for action before the restoration window lapses.
To be issued, criminal files have already been opened, and our investigators, as you can see them here, they are doing their job, and we want to encourage them to, without fear or favor, do a thorough job of investigation, and where we have credible evidence of breach of the law, prosecution must happen without any further delay. Of course, we shall not allow any further construction from now. That's why you see they have run away. We don't see anybody around. So our team will remain surveying this.
NEMA maintains a strong warning to all developers in gazetted areas to desist from any illegal action before conducting proper environmental due diligence.
Upon everybody throughout the country who has encroached wetlands, riverbanks, lake shores, to heed our call and live peacefully before they are disrupted, because none of us becomes happy seeing people's livelihoods disrupted.
Wetlands are protected ecosystems that play a critical role in flood control, water purification, and climate regulation. No person is permitted to develop a wetland without authorization under the National Environment Act.
Good morning, Uganda. You are watching UBC TV, and we come to you live from the Nile Avenue. It's time for The Real. My name is Julie F. Nantaba with Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono, and this morning we are going to look at the ongoing restoration of wetlands by NEMA. That story that we've just watched is where the National Environment Management Authority halted the construction of a multi-storied buildings that were being erected illegally within Kajansi wetland in Wakiso district. Now, one of the statements that I've come to find confusion with, usually when we see police spokespersons or anyone representing the police regarding a case or a crime scene or anything, or now what we've just seen, where the ED of NEMA was saying that we're investigating, and if credible evidence is discovered and given, definitely this will be put to an end. And sometimes you'd wonder, what are the technicalities of credible evidence? What exactly does investigation or credible evidence mean when it's right there in your face? When you can see the wetland, it's obvious, a swamp is just there. But sometimes you never know the technicalities of these things unless those who have the expertise explain to you the detail and nitty-gritty of it. But let's delve deep into this. Looking at some of the statistics, Uganda's wetland coverage has drastically declined from 15.6% in 1994 to roughly 8.9%. That's huge in the recent years, and with about 5,000 hectares disappearing annually. Now, to combat this massive restoration and demarcation initiatives have been put in place, where over 10,200 hectares of degraded wetlands countrywide are being dealt with. And the national cover target, the government aims to increase wetland coverage from the current, which is 8.9%, to about 9.57%, which is still really minimal. But this was under the third NDP plan as of statistics at that time. We look forward to what the fourth shall carry. Now, Robert, first and foremost, I'll ask for the fact that you've covered quite a lot in your tenure as a journalist. When this statement, credible evidence, investigations are going on, when you as a civilian or you're seeing the evidence with your bare eyes, what exactly, technically, does that statement mean for us to first align?
Well, Julie, before I come to that, may the Holy Spirit guide me. There are things that happen in this nation, and you can lose words.
Right.
Yesterday I watched a clip of a man whose house had been demolished in Kawala.
A home.
A home. A man of about 40 years, shedding tears, crying, saying, I got an accident, I've just returned from Mulago Hospital. But as I was feeling the pain as a man, you've built a house, I said, no, Robert, don't get emotional. This is an illegality, government is correcting. You get it, Judy? Don't get emotional. I told my spirit, don't get emotional. This is something government is correcting. Look at climate change. Look at the confusion we are in, the flooding. So my spirit was comforted. As I was crowing, I saw a mother with, I think, a 5-year-old, house demolished, rushing into the car, the road to be crushed. And it's this baby holding the mother, and the mother wanted both her and the child to die. So the people came in and held the mother. It was confusion. Now I told myself, Robert, still please tell your spirit government is doing a good thing, because this child maybe one day would perish in floods. Now, when we see such houses, and we are talking of the word investigating, and remember, NEMA to go here, it was public outcry, social media. People were saying selective justice. Look at these houses. Now, when we see these statements being used now, my spirit that I told you, don't cry, take heart, they are correcting a problem, is telling me you lied to us. Because we must. I've hosted Dr. Barirega, the executive director of NEMA. And he told me, Robert, since I think April 2024, if the year I remember it very well, NEMA stopped issuing permits to develop wetlands. Years have not gone very far, if we can remember. Here, down here, where Lady Cheryl, this Sarah Chiston, Nyakana's wife. Here,
Centenary Park?
Centenary Park. When they demolished her properties, because it is a wetland. Now.
And Garden City was left? Anyways, continue.
For me, what I want to say is, we want to support good work. You want to restore our wetlands. But justice must be seen. If a man who has a house of 20 million. It was an ultimatum. We didn't have so and so investigations into this matter. Wrong was wrong, not so?
Right.
And we brought the state machinery and we demolished. Because we all know, if you don't know, we are going to educate you today. Why you shouldn't build in a wetland. Now, Julie, tell me, I wish that video could play again. Tell me how you demolish a house of 25 million. You don't need investigation. It is not there where you see papyrus. Look at this. Papyrus. There is one where we saw the foundation having these Adkoa stones. Look at that. And just next to it, you're going to see papyrus. Please, please. What isn't obvious there? What isn't obvious? That is a wetland that needs demolition compared to the demolition we've been seeing. What are we going to investigate? Look at papyrus. That thing is not planted. It doesn't grow where it's not a wetland. I think many times when you want change to be done, there is what we call drastic measures that you do to set precedent. Olaba amenye nyumba z'abagagga ennungi ezaali mu lutobazi kalina kati gwe omwavu ekikuteesa akayumba kaawo bajja kamenya. That is a statement you've made. That if they were able to bring down such structures that were found in a wetland, then you're sending a message to the poor that better not put your ramshackled thing here. Better not put, but as long as you look for technicalities to justify, I want to tell you we may lose this war.
Therein, allow me ask you, viewer who's seated and following the program, do you think, in your opinion, should the protection of wetlands be prioritized over commercial and infrastructure development projects? Share your opinion at that. Is it a yes? Is it a no? At UBC TV Uganda on X, the hashtag is UBCGMU, and on to our WhatsApp 0709 602592. Be part of the conversation as we look at the ongoing restoration of wetlands by NEMA. Should the protection of wetlands be prioritized over commercial and infrastructure development? What if one says that, oh well, it's for the development of the country? But one indeed would still argue, and in fact, I believe Robert would even agree with me here, the both of us would argue that part of the country's development is a perfect climate system.
Two things that I've seen. One, there is where we lost it somewhere. Or we've not given Ugandans enough information. Previously we talk of vital wetlands. That there are wetlands we can mess around with, but there are those vital wetlands. That for them it is a no deal. Then later we said let a wetland be a wetland. Because when we talk about vital, not vital, there are technologies, terminologies we can use. And I want to remind Ugandans that, Julie, I've come to learn that there is always an excuse out of anything. You can always find reasons to justify whatever we want to justify. Even in the Holy Book, one will tell you polygamy is evil. Another one will tell you no. God spoke to great men who had very many wives. The same God was speaking. So you can always find an excuse. And when it comes to technicalities, you can open books here. But one thing, Julie, I've learned, your inner man, I'm not preaching despite being a pastor's son, but your inner man will always know the truth.
And the truth
and
shall
will
set
tell
you
you
free, but you
that Mr. Executive Director, DPC, Honorable Minister, UTV presenter, what you're defending is wrong.
Right.
The truth is this. So, Much as we could look for all technicalities in some situations to justify certain things, our inner man. But you asked a very important question. Should we go for commercial development? Because should people have wetlands and remain poor? President Yoweri Museveni has an answer for that.
He does.
And he gave it to Ugandans.
Even on Labor Day, he shared.
You go to Limoto wetland. People are making huge monies out of this wetland. Previously, they were encroaching on the wetland. I think it was growing rice, what? Now they're in fish farming.
Fish farming, yes.
Making a lot of money. We are not saying let's have the wetlands and people are poor. But there are activities that if maybe you own this wetland, you can carry out in this wetland and they are not a danger to the community. But finally, before I forget this, Julie, I want to call upon our good government. If there is a rich man constructing in a wetland and a poor man constructing in a wetland, the poor man has run out of options. Not so, Julie? The rich man has not run out of options. When you go to BG and find these people who have makeshift funny houses, they came in Kampala, they are looking for where to stay, they are poor, they are the poorest among the poor. Don't rush to demolish them. They have no option. But a person, when I looked at those structures, Julie, a person who can build a structure of 2 billion shillings or $1 billion shilling has the money to bring the hardcore, bring Sinotrax, do whatever, build that foundation you saw. That person has thousands of options. He just chose that wetland. Sente zalina, let me even use the local language. That omugaga azimba mu lutobazi. Look at, you see, just setting up that person has options to buy elsewhere because they have the monies. The other poor person has no options. Now, we should not look at that foundation I've built, I've constructed. That is a lot of money having that foundation, Julie. It's a house of its own, 4-bedroom house. Now, that person, look at that swamp. I had the diverted water from Lake Victoria, something like that. And even there was fish dying on the other side. I saw a clip now. The money put there to build that house, that money can buy land so many places in Uganda. So before you try to wink or do anything, rush and stop this one. I'd rather be complacent and have mercy on the poor, but not a person who deliberately.
And clearly there is no much investigation to do on such a case, quite evident. But should the protection of wetlands be prioritized over commercial and infrastructural development projects? Now, to look at some of your views, thank you so much for choosing to watch UBC TV this morning. Good morning. Can NEMA also remove factories located in wetlands, areas like, okay, you did not say the areas, but you say like, and leave it at that, and you say that Thomas. Thank you, Thomas, for being on the show. Good morning, everyone. The truth is that the country is divided into parts, and the most affected always are the so-called common people. There's nothing to investigate. It's just that the rich are the ones respected in this country, and the level of idiocracy is very high. I'm on the way to solve all those, even though the media is also corrupt nowadays. I'm Katwesije Johnson, presidential aspirant 2031.
Now, first, I want to ask him, throughout this discussion, let's take an example of verse 2. Has he seen any element of corruption in our discussion? Have the rich paid us to protect them as we deliberate? Have the poor paid us to protect them as we deliberate? Let's not have blanket statements.
I guess he also has his experience to speak from, so
when we talk
perhaps he could share the experience.
When we talk of the media being corrupt, I'm seeing it of late, many people are using that term. The media is correct.
That means there's an experience of it. It can't come from nowhere.
To a certain extent, I won't rubbish it totally.
Yes, yes.
Because where there is smoke, there is fire. But I want to say, on a larger extent, the media in Uganda, we must understand it two times. We have the traditional media, and then we have this new media. The bloggers, are they called the bloggers? Some call them, are they there are terms they use.
Influencers.
Influencers. Those I can say so because I've seen them deliberately. One has a war with the other, and when you open someone's page, they have a line they have taken. So please differentiate. When we talk, the mainstream media still has credibility and credibility. But the problem is this new media. When you go on your TikTok, when you look at people's social media handles, we are all taken as journalists. But there is a difference, my brother.
Good morning, UBC. Thank you for everything. As we are speaking right now, don't forget that here in Uganda we have abana nebyana. So that's why ebyana amayumba bagamenye, and abana they are still investigating. Thank you. This is Isri Semuju. Thank you, Semuju, for being on the show. And good morning, Julian Robert. It's Isaac Wanzala. Wanzak's eyes are in West Nile. But to leave someone to build such buildings in wetlands, where was NEMA for not reserving those wetlands? If some wetlands are not in use, let people drain them or use them, because this shows that NEMA itself have neglected their work. They first wait a problem to raise so that they wake up and start harassing people.
I beg to disagree. And when you look at those structures, let's take a case in point.
Yeah.
I want to believe those are educated people. I remember I was in Pitu Nakasero Primary School when we were discussing how rainfall is formed with conventional rainfall. We had one of forests, why we should preserve forests, why we should preserve our lakes and our wetlands. Now, the people who erect such structures, most of the times, it's not out of ignorance. It's not out of ignorance. NEMA cannot be everywhere. They don't have that number of people, even if we talk about the Environment Protection Police. But you as a Ugandan...
In line with a commercial building, doesn't one require a license of some sort before they start constructing?
You'll find that some of these houses even don't have that. Or someone bribed their way too. Because NEMA cannot give permits and then turn against you. Under Dr. Barirega, that I can confirm. Now, Ugandans, we must move away from being stopped to doing wrong. Julie, most so, now, for sure, what is that you can't see? You know, so when we say, how does a building come? Julie, I've seen buildings in this country that are built at night, throughout. At night. The builders arrive around 6, they meander. When it comes to 10, they build. By the time you're coming to work at 4:30,
the building is finished.
The guys are also moving away. And some are hidden, like that particular wetland. When you're on the main road, you may not even easily know that it's a wetland. So, for me, I want to urge Ugandans, let's understand, and I think Julie will take them through importances of wetlands.
Right. Allow us, let's first complete some of the statements that are coming from you. Hi, I'm Ramohan from Maracha. Restoration of the wetlands is very important, but infrastructure is also part of the development in the country, so priority should also be taken before demolition of the building structure, especially for the poor. I find this contradicting though, because if at all we're looking at infrastructure development and then putting priority to the poor, if a poor person has constructed in a wetland and they're not doing any commercial activity, what priority is given if at all you're looking at it from that angle? But thank you so much for your opinion. Good morning, UBC. Wetland restoration is not going to be realistic in Uganda. I mean, Mbale City, where the industrial park is located, was a powerful wetland as as I was growing up. But as we talk, factories have occupied the whole area. Actually, when it rains, that place floods. But no one is talking of breaking the park. Instead, they are planning to put down people's residential buildings. Too bad. That's my submission. Silas Namonyo in Mbale, the industrial park in Mbale.
I have no comment about that.
Is in our wetland.
I have no comment about that, Julie. Because the number of our industrial parks, even if you go to Nama, they have those challenges.
Yes. I'm Muyimbwa Abdul, economist, Ugandans nafe tuberemu. I have been in Dubai where I've seen constructions on the backs of water bodies. And even in water bodies, and we sit there to enjoy the scenery. When will that reach Uganda to attract tourists? If construction is contrary to development plans, let's see NEMA distracting Northern Bypass, Masaka Express. We all know they are all in wetlands, inclusive Natete Police Station.
My brother. First finish the messages, I think.
Okay, how much have they involved the LCs regarding the protection of wetlands? The prime protector should be the LC1, the prime suspect in case encroachment is done. This is Robert Williams. This is quite profound, actually. I'm not talking about the current show. Please, okay. Oh, yes. This is the gentleman who was talking about the media. He says that he's not talking about the current show in particular, but he says that he says he knows all the challenges faced in the media. This is Johnson again.
My good friend, by the way. Johnson is my friend.
Nzomgaga Saurembwe Nabwero mbuza lwa makampuni agamu lwacha makampuni agamu temugamenya mubatya abavu bamutulugunya oba bamutulugunya boka, I think it's what you meant. And the protection of wetlands be prioritized. Now, a common person builds his small house away from wetlands, but rich come and dump soil and raise the ground, diverting water flow. Look at Kabowa, Natete, Nalukolongo area flooding. Regarding the question you posed, my view is that commercial developments can be established in many different locations, but wetlands are irreplaceable natural resources. Unless someone can demonstrate that wetlands can be artificially created and sustainably replaced, I believe they should be preserved and protected. Ford Leonard. The comments are many. The time is very much against us. Robert, you needed to say something regarding the comments I've so far read.
One, I want to urge fellow Ugandans.
As we conclude, yeah.
I want to urge fellow Ugandans. Today we are living on this planet called Earth and in this country called Uganda. But let's think of the hardships people that are going to come after us, that they are going to go through. Don't be selfish, don't be greedy. Second, think about others. You have the money, you can construct in this wetland, have the road made, but what you're sending to the people surrounding you, their houses are falling because of you. Then lastly, to NEMA, this is a litmus test. When we had the demolition, we had a petrol station issue, you remember? There are all technicalities to defend that. The early demolitions last year of NEMA, certain petrol station, we had all, and I think something there. Now today, social media was awash with these homes, these houses. It is a test. And Ugandans, when we lose it, and they think or view it as selective justice, then you've lost both the battle and the war. I rest my case. All right, we'll bring this conversation to a close. We do have JMU Tourism Express, business with Robert, the agenda as well, and sports, so a lot still in store for you. Stay tuned on Good Morning Uganda.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
General, to invest in taxation. When people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
Does banning groupage cargo clearance protect small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive? Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Buza Commissioner.
I know what Uganda needs. When General Caleb Akantwanaho retired, Salim Saleh presented his long, detailed analysis of Uganda's economy and structured recommendations for improvement in the form of the Third National Development Plan, NDP-3, to President Museveni. He laid out the kinds of problems that many Ugandans feel every day, but rarely see captured in one place. He was doing what he has done for years, breaking down the problems holding back ordinary Ugandans. He talked about distortions in factors of production, such as land conflicts that choke investment, the high cost of finance for ordinary people, the shortage of skills among youth, the slow pace of value addition, and the gap between production in the villages and the factories in industrial parks. It was the kind of diagnosis a technocrat offers when trying to get a country unstuck. The president's reply was striking in its simplicity. I know what Uganda needs. At first, to others, it might have sounded almost dismissive. But when placed in the context of 40 years of state rebuilding, economic reform, and political stability, it revealed something deeper. A belief that Uganda's path to transformation has been consistent, deliberate, and informed by lived experience rather than theory. His confidence is not based on guesswork. It's based on the journey already traveled. He always stresses that any serious revolutionary discussion about the economy of Uganda, or indeed much of Africa, should include the following questions. 1. What was the economy of Uganda like in 1900, at the dawn of colonialism? 2. What was the economy of Uganda like in 1962, at the sunset of colonialism? 3. How and what was the magnitude of the collapse of the Ugandan economy between 1971 and 1986? Idi Amin, Obote II, Okello. 4. What, therefore, was the economy of Uganda like in 1986? 5. What is the Ugandan economy like today, and why?
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
My name is Dorcas Rukundo Twesigomwe. I work with Uganda Wildlife Authority. I head the Tourism and Business Development Department at UA. And I am so excited to be here at the 10th Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo. I want to take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you that came to Uganda. Uganda is a beautiful country. I am sure you're enjoying it. The weather is different, the scenery is different, the landscape is different, the food is different, the people are different, and the wild is different. Welcome to Uganda. So, Uganda in 1983, we carried out a census and we realized we no longer had any rhinos in Uganda. We had run out of rhinos due to poaching, due to people who had killed the rhinos, and we did not have any rhino. In 2005, the government of Uganda, through the Uganda Rhino Fund, we got 4 rhinos from Kenya and 4 rhinos from the United States of America, specifically from Disneyland. And those rhinos have since multiplied. We now have 61 rhinos. Some of these rhinos, when they came, they produced and we named them. We named some rhinos due to circumstances under which they were born. For example, there is a rhino that came from Kenya called Moja, and then we got one from the US called Nandi. Those two met and had an offspring who was a man, a male offspring, and the male offspring is called Obama. Now, Obama translates well with the Obama of the US because his father was Kenyan and his mother was American. So this rhino called Obama is there. He has brothers who are nameless. I want to invite Ugandans and the rest of the world to come and give these rhinos names. We have only 16 named rhinos. The rest of the rhinos do not have a name. And this is an opportunity for you to come and name the rhinos. Come and name the rhinos at only 10,000 USD. You'll give a name to the rhino, and everyone will know that this rhino is called so and so. They will come and visit. You will come and visit. You will come and follow it. Recently, because of the numbers, we are moving some of them to the protected areas. We have taken some to Kidepo Valley National Park. We have taken some to Ajai Wildlife Reserve. So when your rhino is being moved, we notify you. You be present at the time of translocation. You move with your rhino. You see it at the time of release to the wild. You follow it there. We keep updating you. When your rhino gives birth, you come. You can even come with your family, all at no cost. But you are following your rhino that you have named. But most importantly, you are contributing to the conservation of the rhinos. So a rhino is calling you right now. He's saying, give me a name. We have some rhinos that we have put there just to show you what a rhino looks like. It's one of those most beautiful big 5 animals that we have in Uganda. So come and name a rhino. The rhinos are calling. They are saying, give me a name. I cannot be nameless forever. Give me a name at a cost to protect these rhinos from extinction, to protect these rhinos that they can also thrive and live. I thank you, and thank you indeed.
Brought to you by Uniquely Ours. Explore Uganda.
Thanks for keeping it with us on UBC TV. It's time we look at the business stories. Now, the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development launched the National Budget Month, Initiative 6, to inform the public about the priorities of government of the next financial year, which starts on the 1st of July this year. Gracing over the launch, Dr. Ramadhan Gobi, the Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Finance, cautioned government entities against misappropriation of government funds.
On several occasions, there are concerns arising from stalled and delayed government projects across the country. This is attributed to lack of funds despite Parliament going ahead to allocate the required resources. The most affected sector is the road construction and rehabilitation projects.
And now our second priority is completing those projects, the tarmacs. You have seen the tarmac road, it takes 4 years, 6 years not finished. Even they abandoned the projects. We have seen the Mwende Mitiana. So to finish those roads which have not yet been finished. For example, the Mwende Mitiana, you have seen it. The Mutukura Road, you have seen it. You have seen the Jinja Express Highway. It should have come as soon as yesterday.
After the vetting by Parliament, the Minister-designate for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Henry Musasizi, has a solution.
Depend on availability of cash. Sometimes there is a budget, but we fail to raise adequate resources. Also, prioritization and the planning. We want to strengthen the program-based budgeting so that by the time an item gets into the budget, it is speaking to the plan, it is speaking to the manifesto, and also the resources are available.
So, the respective government ministries, departments, and agencies are under caution.
You don't just do a budget and you don't identify or indicate where the resources are going to come from to finance the budget. So it is the budget and also the source of financing must move together.
But there is a bigger issue.
What is this money going to do? That is where the issue of the idea of value for money comes in. We must make sure that funds provided or spent have achieved the desired outcomes.
Budget indiscipline needs address.
In this regard also, we shall ensure timely audit, especially value for money audits, because we want to see the projects of government moving. You find the project has taken more than even 5 years.
Government is in advanced stages of doubling the funds under the annual supplementary grants of 1 billion shilling per district and municipalities meant for road rehabilitation. Priority is on the districts of Kasese, Isingiro, Wakiso and Tungamo in the next financial year.
So next financial year, we shall take to Cabinet to request Cabinet. We advise Cabinet that there are some districts where the 1 billion is not enough.
The incoming Minister for Works and Transport, Fred Byamukama, warns against corruption where contractors of various projects delay.
Regardless, we are going to increase this money, the 1 billion. And at the same time, we have increased the money for road fund. But there are also district officers that are corrupt. You find the chairman of C5 has connived with the cow, has connived with the district engineer. The money meant to work on 10 kilometers. For them to work on only 3 kilometers. The remaining money, they eat it among themselves. I feel the district leadership, the councillors.
Minister Fred Byamukama reveals of plans to add on the fleet of aircrafts to increase the capacity of Uganda Airlines to connect Uganda towards the outside world.
Having sorted the problems in the Uganda Airlines, we are going to procure aircrafts. We are bringing 4 at first, then we shall add 4, then 2. We are procuring 10 aircrafts in a period of time.
In the next financial year 2026-2027, government allocated a total of 10.856 trillion to the infrastructure development as part of the costed budget priorities under what was described as enablers. Of these, the SGR and meter gauge railway, roads development, including express highways, rehabilitation, among others, have been prioritized. The Minister of Finance has reintroduced the idea to cut the exaggerated government expenditure, especially on public holidays.
We are thinking, if you are spending, for example, 500 million or $1 billion on a public holiday, can't there be another way of achieving the objective of Ugandans celebrating, but there is no expenditure, so that now money moves to the ATMs and the enablers?
Most ministers who were vetted on day one by the Parliamentary Appointments Committee have pledged to implement the NRM manifesto to ensure value for money.
I pledge to improve the fisheries sector, to ensure that fish is back in the lake, to ensure that we improve household income, because if there is fish, then household income will be improved in the fishing communities. But also I want to make an appeal to my people. I've not been chosen to help them do illegal fishing. My role is to help them get out of illegal fishing.
Why would ministers be rotated and someone remains in a district? So we need now to rotate, like people appointed by the Service Commission in Masindi, of course with improvement of the Local Government Act, to rotate them to the nearby district. Every 3 years we should rotate these workers so that we remove the network of thieves, people who have been stealing government money. My focus now will focus on following up, guiding, training our local government officers.
Daniel Mugoya, UBC News.
The Insurance Regulatory Authority, Ibrahim Kaduna Birwega, challenged the Insurance Regulatory Authority's board decision not to recommend him for another term in office. Kadunabi has served as the CEO of the government agency for 16 years, despite provisions in the Insurance Act that limit the term of executive officers to a maximum of 10 years. He has since sought legal redress, arguing that he still has unfinished projects that require his leadership and oversight. Well, let's take a look at this. Well, that brings us to the end of our business stories this morning. We'll go for a break. Julie will be next with Good Morning Uganda agenda. She has a guest, and I'm sure there's so much that you need to know regarding Ebola. Then I'll return with Good Morning Uganda Extra after Ruben does the sports updates. Keep it with us.
Of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
I'll call you every day, yeah yo, baby don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks, Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation. When people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza Commissioner.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Genshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product.
I know what Uganda needs. When General Caleb Akantwanaho retired, Salim Saleh presented his long, detailed analysis of Uganda's economy and structured recommendations for improvement in the form of the Third National Development Plan, NDP-3, to President Museveni. He laid out the kinds of problems that many Ugandans feel every day, but rarely see captured in one place. He was doing what he has done for years, breaking down the problems holding back ordinary Ugandans. He talked about distortions in factors of production, such as land conflicts that choke investment, the high cost of finance for ordinary people, the shortage of skills among youth, the slow pace of value addition, and the gap between production in the villages and the factories in industrial parks. It was the kind of diagnosis a technocrat offers when trying to get a country unstuck